Here with men's tennis coach Jeff Halberg. Coach, we were just kind of joking off camera. What a weekend last weekend. 4 matches in, basically a little over 2 days. A good 3-1 record in those 4 matches. You got to feel pretty good about where the guys are right now.
I do. Yeah, it was a little bit of an unknown because our team adjusted a little bit, but of course our opponents did too. Carroll got in some new people. Concordia got in some new people. Carthage was an unknown to us. We hadn't played them. And we didn't play Oshkosh last year, so we hadn't played them since 2 years ago. So we were kind of curious about what would actually transpire. It was a little bit of going into the unknown, but it worked out extremely well. Everybody contributed. Every single player played in the matches. We had to do a few adjustments. Blake Olmscheid had a little pull in his groin, and so he had to step aside for a while. He should be back in action by next week, but he had to step out. So other people had to step up, but they just did a great job. And it kind of made it more fun in some ways. Not that Blake was having fun sitting on the sidelines, but because everybody felt like they contributed. Blake actually did joke though that we kind of used him as an assistant coach on a little, one of the matches was kind of busy, and after doing it and realizing what Blake and I have to do, he was like, "You guys can have it. I don't want this."
The interesting thing with this team of yours is that you have some very talented depth, and it's a very veteran team. Most of these guys are back from last year. It's got to feel nice as a coach to kind of know what you're going to get from these guys, and really it seems like everybody has actually taken their game up another level this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is, frankly, I think we're just more composed. We're not as nervous about what we're facing. They know their capabilities. They know it's not easy, but they know they're not that nervous about it anymore because they kind of know what to expect. So they just go out there and just go, well, we're just going to dig hard and see what happens. And obviously, in the case this past weekend, we went 3-1 and beat some tough teams. And hats off to Carthage; they were just fantastic, and they were a bit too much for us. But no, it was a great weekend, and getting our first win ever over Oshkosh was kind of a fun way to finish out the weekend. So.
And I know that you're not necessarily giving them time off, but you don't compete again for basically 8 days when you've got Gustavus and Martin Luther here. What do you do in this time in terms of letting them get a little bit of rest, but also making sure that they stay sharp with a little bit of a break here before you're back in action against Gustavus and Martin Luther?
Yeah, well, we do. We sometimes go back to some basic stuff just to make sure that we're keeping the foundation good, but we also give them a little bit of a shorter week. A couple of guys needed an extra day, and I've got no problem with that because this is a great week for them to catch up on homework, catch up on things. Also, just by luck or whatever, a cold went through the team. Like literally everyone got it. And so it's actually probably a good thing that we're missing out this weekend. So we actually should be, knock on wood, we'll be healthy for 8 days from now.
And let's put on the look into this crystal ball. Gustavus and Martin Luther, obviously Gustavus, one of the top teams in the conference every year, should be a huge test for you. But again, with the team that you have, I got to think you feel pretty confident going into that match.
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking to necessarily knock them off. I mean, they haven't lost a conference match now in 30 years, so that's a pretty good track record. But the thing that really keys our interest and stuff like that with Gustavus is that we want to see what is the national level like. Where does that push us, and where are we? And also, you go into those matches like that, we've got nothing to lose. 2 years ago we went in and we were actually the only team in the conference that took a match off them. They actually went 9-0 in 8 of the 9 matches, but we were able to put a dent in that. It's a small dent, but in tennis that can be kind of significant because when you're talking about lineups where you have to play in order of ability and things like that, it showed the depth of our team that we could do that to them because normally, if you're not as deep, those guys in the 4, 5, 6 spots, the 2 or 3 doubles, they can often struggle against a team like that because they don't fall off that fast. But the fact that we were able to be competitive in a lot of positions and got a match off them, it tells you the depth of our team. And it's pretty much that same team now. We've got a good base of guys, lots of experience. And so it'll be a fun day. We look forward to it.
February 20th, you've got Gustavus in the afternoon, and then you close it off with Martin Luther later in the evening. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.